on ouvre ce journal avec la
We begin the bulletin with the victory of George Weah in the presidential election in Liberia. He won the second round of voting with 61.5% of the vote, far ahead of Joseph Boakai. At 51 years of age, it's an exceptional destiny that he is in the process of accomplishing. A child of the slums of Monrovia, he became a world-famous footballer in the 90s. And today, this former footballer is elected president, a first in Africa. This shows that Liberia continues to be a pioneer, the first country to have elected a female president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, from whom George Weah will take over. Before going any further, let's first take a look at the joy in Monrovia after declaration of the results.
Commenté par Bridget Ugwe et Amelia Nakichimbo.
The emotion is far too strong. In front of the crowds, it was a new dawn when the new president of Liberia appeared before his supporters. Former football star and Senator George Weah has won 61.5% of the vote in the second round of the presidential election, against 38.5% of his rival, Vice President Joseph Boakai. His supporters are equally moved.
First time in my life to feel so happy like this, because we have been in the struggle for 12 years. 2005 we were defeated, 2011. But it encouraged us because we know we, the young people of this nation, were going to rewrite history like the children of South Africa. So I'm overly excited. I'm overly excited, seriously, because we have taken our nation back into our hands.
I'm very excited. I'm overjoyed because we have made history. Ambassador Weah, the true son of the soil, the man who is loved by the Liberian people, has just been announced president-elect of the Republic of Liberia. So I'm so happy.
Star striker for Monaco, PSG and AC Milan in the 90s, George Weah will take over from Ellen Johnson Sirleaf on the 22nd of January, marking the first democratic transition in over 70 years in this English-speaking country.
Well, quite a scene there. George Weah, Africa's first World Footballer of the Year, European Player of the Year, African Player of the Year, and now the biggest trophy of his life, Liberia's President-elect. Following the announcement by Liberia's Electoral Commission, a number of African leaders have sent their congratulatory messages. Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta and Burundi's President Pierre Nkurunziza took to social media to congratulate the President-elect. Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo also took to his Facebook page to congratulate him for winning and commended Joseph Boakai for his matured campaign. The football world also joined the former Chelsea, AC Milan, PSG, Monaco, Manchester City and Marseille player in the celebration by taking to Twitter to congratulate him on his victory at the polls.
Ivorian soccer star Didier Drogba and Ghanaian ace football legend Anthony Baffour took to Twitter to congratulate George Weah's president-elect of Liberia ahead of the declaration of official results. Baffour wrote, "It's impossible until it is done. #Madiba." It is indeed. Congratulations, Mr. President, Drogba tweeted, referring to George Weah. In Monrovia, various newspapers also crowned Weah 51 as president-elect, but the National Elections Commission cautioned public to wait for the official results. George Weah reportedly wept due to the outpour of support in his favor.
To understand what this victory means and its stakes, we speak to a journalist, Nia Krofi, who covered part of the election. Hello, Nia. This is the third time that George Weah has run for president in Liberia, and this is the first time he has won. So what factors led to his victory?
A couple of factors, I think, will account for Weah's victory. One of them, of course, is his fame as a football legend in Africa, especially coming from Liberia, being the only African to have won the Ballon d'Or. And since then, no one has ever won it. Of course, that would be one of them, I'm sure. And then also the other is when you speak to many Liberians, they tell you that George Weah's humble beginnings makes him a perfect candidate for them because they believe that he will be someone who will be able to empathize with them. He's someone who knows the struggles that the average Liberian is going through currently. And so when he becomes president, he'll be able to do something about it, something they've criticized the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf Boakai administration of not being able to do, and for which reason many people did not want Joseph Boakai to become the next president of Liberia. And of course, probably one of the more important factors I can think of will be his alliance with Senator Joel Taylor, the former wife of Charles Taylor, who herself ran as a senator in Liberia a couple of years ago and still was in the Senate until they decided to run as presidential candidate and vice.
The results for the first round were contested. Do you think that those of the second round are likely to be challenged by Camp Boakai, which was assured of a victory?
Par le camp Boakai qui était sûr de l'emporter cette fois-ci.
Yes, indeed. Boakai was confident. In fact, he has been confident even since October that he was going to win. But chances of legal dispute at this point, I'm not too sure. Well, even though I must say that the Vice President Boakai, he has already hinted, I think yesterday or 2 days ago, that he might go to court over this election results because he feels that there were some irregularities that took place during the voting. But I'm not too sure if he will have that much support, especially from the other opposition parties or even from the Liberian people to go to court. Because one thing is, Liberians are really looking forward to making history. Liberians and in fact the Electoral Commission and everybody, even President Sirleaf herself, were keen on making sure that they do not miss the January 22nd deadline, or if you like, the January deadline for the transition of power from one democratically elected government to the other. So I'm quite sure even if Boakai should go to court, they'd probably deal with it much faster than the first one, but I really doubt he would go ahead.
You covered and followed this campaign. What are the priorities of George Weah as president?
Okay, one of the first things he said to me back in October was that his first priority will be to unite the nation, because apparently it looks like right now Liberia is really, really divided. So for him, that is his first priority, to unite a divided Liberia. And then I guess from there, it will be to bring about the change that is promised, because his final rally before the Boxing Day election, he was telling his supporters that they had the chance on Tuesday to bring about a change if they really wanted to bring about change, whether they had the opportunity to either move forward or remain in the past, and also they had the opportunity to decide if they wanted their young ones to be going around from one office to the other begging for school fees before they can pay their fees to stay in school, or if they want something done about it. So now that he's been given the nod by the Liberians, I guess change and unity should be topmost on his agenda as president-elect of Liberia.
Thank you, Nia Krofi, for your insights into the victory of George Weah as the president of Liberia.